And if you like, we can wait maybe more 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So
Oh,
while we are waiting, do you want me to text Jamie if she can join us? She checked with me this morning, but I told her I didn't get any response from you if you would like her to join this meeting.
if she would like to later on, that would be good.
Okay, let
I will
me,
give her some time as
yeah,
well as give us some time to go through a few things.
yes, I'm gonna text her and see because it looked like she's now on her lunch break. So,
JD, I know you are busy, but I could really use some help with co-chairmanship of this thing. I am struggling to get out any paperwork, if not particularly this committee's paperwork, as well as just go through some of the basic things that need to be gotten through to get the thing submitted. Marquita has volunteered to walk with me through the submissions to the legislative council, people who will construct our law that we want to submit. But I don't think she has the time to. I'm hoping somebody else in the group here doesn't.
I'm most available on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay, well, just if you're interested, I could just use a little bit of backup in general because my health has been, I've been taking nuclear medicine treatments and those really take the wind out of your sails. So having isotopes flowing in your bloodstream is really kind of knocks you out for a while. So, and that happens periodically. So anyways, and there's a bunch of interesting stuff to do. So if you're interested, there's an opportunity here, and however familiar you may want to be with the legislative process. I'm not sure you want to stick your hand in that box, but you know, it might be worth knowing how it works. Okay. Unless Marquita shows up, this is mostly everybody I would be expecting. I asked Kevin in particular to show up because he can walk us through the steps in the submission process, just so people know what's going on. And I'm hoping to get the statutory citations from him of the things that changed, or where we offered to make changes last time that weren't accepted by the state in the reimbursement laws. He actually had a separate bill sponsored at one point. I'm Drake Eubank, Eugene, longtime advocate, longtime scarred roadkill of the bureaucracy, but otherwise trying to help the constituency through legislation as well, hoping to get somebody in Congress, even by the time Trump shows up, if he shows up today, to support the bill that's out there to give parity for benefits for people. So their benefits actually look like the real costs in society. There's an actual congressional bill to change the Social Security payments and the amount of assets you can have, and which would have a dramatic impact on a lot of people, that they'd have enough to pay rent, all sorts of things. So that's out there, and I wanted to give that another mention. I'd mentioned it in a larger group, but it's an important deal and something that we should weigh in with our congressional delegation with some enthusiasm, because it really needs to be, we need to have visibility. We don't get heard, we don't get listened to. We have a constituency that's been allowed to live in poverty for almost 3 decades now. and without anybody doing anything about it. So, and just that outrage, we still have no political capital. Nobody gives us any, you know, we aren't enough of a downtrodden population that people think it's necessary to legislate on our behalf. Hey, Kevin, are you there?
Yes,
Would-
I'm here. Hi.
Would you like
Can
to
you hear me?
introduce yourself? Yeah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, let's see, roadkill of the bureaucracy, once bitten, twice shy. My name is Kevin. Okay. hold on. My name is Kevin, and I'm being followed by crows. I hope they don't murder me. My pronouns are he and him. I'm glad to be here.
Luke, you want to go?
Sure. Hi, Jake. Yeah, I like that reference to roadkill. I was thrown under the bus in 2011, so I know what that feels like. You know who I am. You know why I'm here. I'll remind you if you need that I've been a client victim of the clinical corrections supervision system here in Oregon for the last 14 years. And got to change. Thanks. How about JD?
Hey everybody, it's JD, they, them, and turtle for pronouns. I'm in Springfield, Eugene, and today is a hard day because it's election day and there's a lot of big feels going on. So I am very distracted today.
Hope today is not a tragedy for most of us. It's amazing that we're having an election that we have. So you have my greatest sympathies. Anyways, Kevin, if you would like to explain the process of submitting something to the legislature through legislative council, the details of which I haven't gone through since I last got involved personally in it, which was a while back with Becky Childs in the early 2000s, but the actual process of where you go and who you talk to and what to expect from these guys and how many other people in line ahead of you and what difference that makes and what needs to be done to shop it around. All those things would be incredibly useful information for the group.
Okay, how much time do I have?
An hour and a half.
Okay, I have a 1 o'clock meeting I got to go to. But well, do you want the conventional route or do you want the spoiled, indulged consumer survivor route? Because one is one personal experience and then one is what the conventional route is.
Pragmatics and first.
One thing is important to know is that the experiences that I have are unusual and different from what you'll be taught conventionally. So let's just say conventionally, Joe Q. Citizen wants to get a bill sponsored. So they go to their legislature with an idea and they say, Mr. Legislator, I want to fix that pothole in front of my house on the street, blah, blah, blah. Here's the bill. Here's the draft. The lawmaker takes the idea, sends it to the lawyers that are employed by the capital that employs the lawmakers, the same legislative group. So they write it into legalese and then they send it back to the lawmaker and he sends it to his constituent and says, is this about what you're thinking about with your law? They said, yes. And then if the lawmaker thinks it's an important issue or gets enough feedback to something to do, then the lawmaker calls for it to be for a hearing in its respective committee, like if it's potholes, be roads and transportation. So the lawmaker helps it get called for a committee hearing. And then if the onus is on the responsibility of the constituent who had the law to try to get turnout to help support the bill. And then oftentimes the lawmaker is also in support of the bill themselves and will testify in favor of those bills. And then they call for a hearing And that's the first stage. What is the bill about and that sort of thing. And then the second thing is, um, do we want to pass this bill? And that's called a work session. And so that's the beginning. That's how ideas turn into bills. And then after it passes the first committee, which is usually policy, like health, transportation, all that sort of stuff. And then it got to go to, we think this is a good idea, but then other decisions are based on money, the Ways and Means process. So after a bill gets approved, like this is something we want in our community, is there enough money? And as you understand, like Drake said, lots of people are lined up with great ideas, but very few get to the money committee, and even less get out of the money committee with any money, because there's not enough money to go around for all the good ideas and needs out there. So how was that?
That's a good elevator speech. What about the
I'm
legislative?
doing it completely verbatim, just riding my bicycle to my coffee appointment. So
Doing great. Can you do some sort of summary about the interaction with the legislative council?
So the one thing is, so there are certain things that are advantages. Lawmakers get to introduce bills on behalf of their constituents or on behalf of themselves. So, and particularly if you're a lead of a health committee, like for example, where peer respite, it went through the health committee, and one of the sponsors was the chair of the committee. So that helps terrifically. There's a term that is called so this doesn't happen all that often, but there's two ways to get a bill. Either you file it at the very beginning of session, and there's a window that closes sometime into session, but there's what called pre-filing. And those are opportunities where the legislator person knows, oh, I want a bill on this, I draft a bill on this. And so that gives you 6 months or 4 months, I can't remember, maybe 3 months of ahead time where you can send it in. The legislators send it in their lawyers and say, write this into legalese. Let's make a draft of that. And then they can work on, that doesn't exactly get to it in that 3 months. So, so you file it in a pre-file in August or September, they kick it back to you in late October or November and say, is this what you want? And then you can work on, the definition needs to be this and that. And which gives you much more opportunity to get all these things worked out before the bill is called for a hearing or is introduced into session, because then you may have to rush. These opportunities are golden, and especially for, like us, poor, people who've been discriminated against and hated and treated terribly because we're poor and we have emotional health challenges. These opportunities don't really exist for us, really. And I would say that consequently, for a third of the state, those people on Medicare or on public benefits, they don't get access to write laws. But it's been very fortunate through our relationship building and building trust that over the last decade, every time there's a session, we've had more opportunities to put bills in than I've had ideas that I wanted to farm. So this, like last session, the session before, this August and September, I've had conversations with two lawmakers, one on the Senate side and the House side, said pre-file this idea or refile this idea. And then the key term here is, another thing that's been very advantageous is that they've given me a note to mother. And what that means is I can speak directly to the lawyer without having to go through the lawmaker. And depending how much the lawmaker trusts you and think you know what you're talking about, they sometimes will give you that opportunity. Other times, if they don't know you or don't trust you or don't have a working relationship with you, they have to be the go-between. And you can imagine how more difficult it is if you have to pass through edits through 2 or 3 heads instead of 1. One thing is pretty remarkable, that's just a testament to Drake and his smarts, is that we have put in their legal, put stuff in a pre-filed bill, and the lawyers looked at it and thought, this is written really, I mean, not completely, but very, very good in speaking the language they speak. And that's also gets us brownie points. And the next time we go to a lawmaker, I'm like, look, we knew exactly what we wanted. We made it very clear, and we had very good and important shaping relationships with the lawyer who wrote this bill. And so to the degree it goes well, that bids well for the next season to like, hey, you guys respected us. You guys had a great idea and you made us look good. So, that's a trust that I have with 6 to 8 lawmakers, and that's really awesome because it's helped OCAC expand, it's helped fear respite and other things as well. So anyway.
Yeah, just as an added note, our last effort that we were promised access and promised to be on the first round of things that got hearings from the state's privileges, they did not give us a note. I got some peripheral emails from legislative counsel through the government relations person at the division, which changed several times during the period of time we were working on it. But they never really gave us a chance, and that's how our bill got screwed up. It eventually got vetoed, and it was the one concerning the PHW commission. But the language we wanted in there and the peer supervisory stuff we wanted in there never got in there because the legislative council did not have a clue, even as we explained it clearly and forwarded stuff clearly to the government relations person, never had a clue of what to actually put in the bill or put what they thought would fly in the bill, not knowing that we needed a law rather than a rule, that kind of stuff. And those are real particulars that you need somebody on your side that's negotiating that knows the situation and the circumstances you're trying to end up with. But you need to have the ear of the actual person that's writing it, and that's really important. So who's the health people we would want to talk to, Kevin, that you know of who have the appointments for the coming session? Is Nasi
Are we?
again?
Well, Nas is the interim chair of the health committee, and most likely he'll be the permanent chair of the health committee, or for the session. Most likely, they don't announce that until late November or early December. Actually, who all the committee people are going to be.
What's our best avenue to get our thing? The per diem thing affects a lot of people. It affects all the committees of
The thing I
everybody.
would want to figure out is how much is overpromised. We have never had decent behavioral health informed, proactive representation since Sarah Lochner or Annalise Stolf left. Not that people didn't care, but the thing is, and OHA and Ashley Thirstup, all great people, never ever used to us being active legislatively. I'm sure they didn't even read the new law that we got changed. So a complete unfamiliar system beyond ORR, and God bless ORR, so it's not a criticism of them, but didn't really do much job of mapping the universe and saying this is a power OCAC has and wants to use. We need to dig down into the manifest of what voice we want to give them and all that. And that has not happened as far as I know. And I know that it says that we're supposed to be doing these things, and maybe ORR is somewhat helping, but I don't think the linkages of actual, do we get to put something in the mix to file a bill or add it to OHA bill? Those hookups and mechanics are not, don't look clear and defined to me. That it makes me nervous. We got to overpromise with Brandy and Raz and whoever, or whatever the guy before him was, and nothing ever delivered. And the excuses are just ridiculous. How many different excuses that we've had. And again, it is a challenge. We're marginalized people, and even in this $17 billion a year OHA, our needs, voices, and whatever are not very ever paramount, and so we struggle with this.
Yeah, and our impact and policy needs to be there if they're ever going to do anything different.
Yeah.
Saving money is no object. I actually got almost run out of a Democrat's office in Washington for suggesting that something that we were putting forward was more efficient and more says, well, there's a Republican down the hall you can talk to, but that's not really our thing. Please.
What I would do is I would reach out I would get Jamie to come to the meeting, and I would get Representative Rob Nose's staffer, Alex, to come to the meeting and say, we want we think we have the ability to put a submission in or amendment in or something, we need to get it defined. What is our power and authority, and what can we really architect, and what do we just end up, you know?
The thing I
Uh,
was concerned about, Kevin, is that we would end up being targeted for using authority that we maybe they didn't realize they had given us in the statute. And having that become the issue rather than,
I wouldn't worry about that, because if it is in a statute, that's easily defensible, and I could have no problem fighting that or helping other people fight that. The challenge is we need to show them that's in the statute, and then they need to manifest how we put these
it's one of
building
those,
blocks.
unfortunately, it's one of those things that's, we are not prevented from doing it the way we would be prevented in other committees. There is a rule in our previous set of rules that said we're not allowed to develop policy or law or make decisions on behalf of the division. That rule is not present in our current status and with our current statute. That's kind of how it comes down. They can make a rule that prevents us from doing this in theory.
We shouldn't
So,
press our luck. Right.
That's so when I go to take this to legislative council, I'm going to take it with the sponsorship of the council, but not with the, I don't know how to submit it on my own in the sense that,
Well, that's a question. So you can't get to legislative council without a pass off from a representative or a senator. Like you don't have a note from anybody, and they'll just direct you back to Ashley Thirstup in the government relations team.
yeah, no, yes, I understand that part.
So who's going to open the door to get conversations with legislative council?
That's me and whoever is helping me, probably Marquita. And JD has been approached and is welcome to participate. She's got her
No, but I
hand
mean, okay, go ahead. I mean,
So one thing that we've been talking about doing is the advocacy day in March, where we're going to get a hold of everyone's representatives and reserve time so that we can take a sheet of agenda items that we as a council agree on. There should have been an email with the link. I think, Kevin, that you were the first one to share the link with me where you can find your representatives. I need everyone to do that so that I can start looking at dates in March that the representatives will be available, so we can get some of our topics into their to make them aware.
Yes, we will get that stuff. We'll smoke everybody out on that one. And
let me just say, I mean, politely, March, I mean, we should have these things in their hand before a session even starts. March is 6 weeks into the session, and they're going to be closing off committees and pulling calendars to get everybody into the second leg of fighting for money. If we don't have anything in the hopper that's already pre-written to submit as a bill when session starts, we're going to be screwed. I mean, not that we can't give our voice for sure, but if we have any individual bills or amendments that we want to float, we should have them ready at the beginning of sessions.
yeah, JD, if we went to the legislature, that would be after there's already something to support. So ultimately, we want to meet privately with the aides for some of these legislators beforehand. And I was actually hoping people could contact people early enough that they could hook up with people that might be helpful to us well before the session starts. So, but that's going to take some individual initiative rather than a group activity. But yeah, we will definitely, if we got something that we need to advocate for in the legislature, we definitely will use the March opportunity or whatever date we decide on to deal with that. Especially if we have.
I think I wish that this group would put on this agenda for the November meeting. In the governor's recommended budget, there's $6 million for a peer center of excellence.
Center of Excellence, approximately 6.1. And also in the governor's budget, $10 million for peer workforce funds. Now, these, we don't know until after Thanksgiving whether the governor is going to give the green light to these, but these are very important things, and we should be echoing and following what they're doing. Also, too, with those two bills, if those things are moving, there should be an ability to make an amendment to put in some OCAC stuff on whatever bills those are floating. We've done that before. So I think that we should start thinking and writing our own amendment language for what we want to say around whatever it is, the stipends or whatever it is. We should get ready to put that out there. And whether or not OHA wants to dance with those amendments or they don't, they want to fight, we at the outside have an ability to get amendments attached and call for hearings on those amendments. And OHA seeing that on their, bigger, larger budget bill, they be willing to negotiate. That's just, so we should be thinking about what is going to be in our bailiwick area for peer and consumer stuff in the legislature that's not initially sponsored by us, but is sponsored by the governor, that we can get on board and also maybe piggyback with. Just a thought.
And by the way, we do have some more ammunition in terms of mechanisms that support the fact that it shouldn't be income. Measure 118 devotes a whole bunch of its efforts and language to making sure that the rebate payments that are made to people, there's presumed rebate payments, are not counted against benefits, which is the critical thing that we're trying to get across with the per diem legislation. So there's already more support for not punishing poor people.
Mayonnaise?
Poor. Yes, we have mayonnaise. We also have ketchup.
Yeah, ketchup.
More mustard, please.
Thank you.
We envy your ability to have coffee at this meeting.
I'm at a Safeway in Woodstock area where I'm meeting two of my, we're having a staff meeting for my little peer networks group. You guys missed an amazing peer networks. We had one of the preeminent political reporters that used to work for the Oregonian for 20 years. And then we had a up and coming, really powerful Republican staffer. And we all talked about bills and legislative session and politics in Oregon and powerless people. It was a great event.
Is anything going to change in the configuration of the legislature this time, in your estimation, Kevin?
No, maybe even more super majority. No, not a whole lot of it. Anything changing in the Oregon state legislature, really.
And is our
maybe
advocate from before out in Fall Creek, is he been taken off the charts?
Senator Cedric Hayden, is his last session is this winter. So he's agreed to re-sponsor Senate Bill 432, which Mr. Fitz has expanded into some really cool stuff. We'll see but I've raised the price tag from 750,000 to, well,
750 million. Yes, I know, Kevin.
Yes, a huge amount. Yes, because we're anticipating a civil commitment bill by NAMI and a few other players, and one of the things that we want to say is, look, you can't continue to push broken models that damage people, and you need to invest in changing a model. And so here's how you should invest in doing that. And by the way, we need some research money. So we're looking at seeing if we can get the legislature to sponsor, to give particular funding to help support Trellis Retreat, but we don't know whether that'll fly, whether they'll even get a hearing. But Senate Bill 432 is being reintroduced exactly in its language by Representative Rob Noce on the House side. So we have a vehicle for that that will definitely get a hearing. And
will we get to see it as a council before it goes up?
I need to talk to you about last minute edits to send back to Noce to make sure SB 432 is clean and clear.
Okay. Great.
I
Well,
don't
we'd
think
love
we
to
have enough
we'd
time by
love-
December. I need to get this in.
We'd love to have a chance
I will
to
call you
vote.
individually to. Well, we will put it out there. We will show you in December what we submitted, but I need to meet with you soon to help me re-edit and get the right edit into them because they don't want any amendments. They want one edit and then good to go. So that's where we're going. Anyway, I
Okay.
have to be on mute because I got to go through the cashier. Somebody else talk.
Oh my God,
Okay.
it's so strong.
Marquita, would you introduce yourself and
Oh, I didn't realize I was unmuted. I was making coffee. Hey, everybody. Marquita Corley. Excited to be here. Sorry I was late. Work is working. But it sounds like I came in at a good part.
yeah, while the group is while Kevin is going through the cashier, I wanted to ask the group if I can get unanimous consent or consensus that we have a couple of special meetings to invite the legislative aid for Rob Nose and other pertinent folks to talk about our legislative intent
I
and what we
receive it.
do.
Yes. I vote yes. Oh, I submit.
Anybody else want a check mark or just
JD
indicate?
Aren't we
would
supposed to
say
submit it
yes, as long
something?
as it's not on a Wednesday or a Thursday, because I would really like to be.
Absolutely. We'll try to make it as user-friendly as possible, and we will try not to exclude or otherwise leave out anyone.
I
Luke, is that
receive it.
all right with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
We're just gonna need some extra time, and we're running short on the legislative session limit, so.
Yeah, that was my curiosity, why it doesn't just happen next month for this committee, if it needs to happen sooner. I'm for that, yeah, if there's a time crunch.
Yeah, it should happen soon because of the timelines that Kevin was talking about for the stuff he's submitting. As well as just getting their ear and getting the process going for what we want to do.
Yep, exactly.
I think that's everybody. Israel, you down with this?
Did we do it properly? Are we supposed to set a motion and then
Yeah.
someone seconds it? I set a motion for Drake to be able to schedule extra meetings for us to schedule for the legislators to come.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? I think we've already discussed it, but all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Kevin? Take your wallet.
Yes, aye.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
It is so
yeah,
being on the phone at the cashier. I feel him.
Yeah,
By
no,
the
I was in
way-
the toilet. So no, I wasn't in the toilet. I was on the toilet. So.
By the way, when I ask for something for consensus or acclamation and stuff, it doesn't require a formal vote if there are no dissenting voices. So you can pass something in a meeting that way as well. Like it was unanimous consent type thing. So,
I just
and it
wanted to
would
be done right. We don't need nobody saying it wasn't done right.
it was, you basically say, if everybody, do we have consensus is the word you would first use, and then it would be voted by acclamation, which is everybody who's for it. And it's usually done for obvious things, not for stuff that takes a lot of discussion. So I originally did ask for consensus, so I just wanted to make that point that we do have the other option when voting.
Okay. Thank you.
If it's really at all controversial or anybody wants to
I
take up,
think Luke's hand is up.
everybody should vote on it individually.
Do we want to look for some options today?
Yeah, did Jamie say she was showing up, by the way?
she didn't respond. I think she's taking
lunch.
lunch break.
Smart cookie.
Yeah. So, what about Monday next week?
Okay. That
Oh no,
doesn't
Monday.
conflict.
Sorry, no. Monday is holiday next week. Sorry for that.
Oh, that's Veterans Day. Yep.
Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday.
Can't do Wednesdays. JD is not available.
Wednesday, okay. JD not available.
JD, you had another day besides Wednesday, Thursday, did you say?
Correct. Wednesdays and Thursdays, I have my full-time job.
Yeah, my deepest sympathies.
What about the Monday, the 18th?
Yes, and that should give us enough time to contact the people we need to be there.
Mm-hmm. What time you prefer, all of you? 12 to 1?
That's my suggestion, please.
Okay.
And
that'd be
do we have a
Good time
contingent
for me.
in case the people we want are available at another time?
How about we do it next Monday? Is there a meet next Monday?
Holiday.
Oh, that is right. Sorry.
do it from 12 to 1. I can be there for a half an hour of it, the second half, probably.
Okay.
I'd like to be.
Okay, is this confirmed? Monday, 18th, 12 to 1. So I can send an email to all OCAC members.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool beans.
And
Thank
also,
you.
who's gonna send the invite to Rob Nosa's staff and to Janie Hines?
I
We
will.
thought you were, Kevin.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Straight up.
We would like you to help with the NOS aid. Jamie, I can work with Israel to get her there.
Yeah, Jamie is I can check with her about this, but about the
Well, what I need just is verbiage. We have his email address. I just need verbiage to what we say to him.
Oh,
You come to this meeting because, this or that.
yeah, because we would like to discuss our
Is there any
legislative
way
session.
that OCAC and its media kit, it will be ready to go next week to send to the legislators so they understand what OCAC is? We don't want to go through another legislative session when no one has any idea who they are. Like,
Received.
I've never heard of it. I never heard of this council, and it's a missed opportunity.
Luke has his hand up.
Received.
Yeah, I was going to circle back to the earlier subject when we're for that.
Luke, the media kit, is there any
Well,
chance?
Luke's hand has been up for a while. Go ahead, Luke.
I was going to circle back to an earlier topic, actually.
Could you please just briefly speak to whether there's a possibility the media kit or some semblance of a presentable documentation or presentation can be available to the legislators by the time we meet with them on the 18th?
I'm not active on that objective that you're referring to. The media kit that we have in process is a general peer support brochure for OHA to put out and other pieces in the kit. But a kit for what OCAC does is a separate objective, and I like the idea. I just haven't been focused on it myself.
Okay, I thought that was part of the package, so I will work on trying to pull that together.
Laura Rose has made some great content that could be absorbed into that to make it much easier.
Yeah, we had brochures at the Pure Apocalypse conference that were essentially generated from her content.
we
Yep,
have a
okay.
flyer. We have a flyer ready. Have some information about the OCAC. We can present in the meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we would like, I don't know, we need to impress people. So
Yeah.
we may expand on that.
Mm-hmm.
JD, I have a question on that regard. The like compass star that you generated recently for our logo graphic. I was
Yes.
curious why different from the Compass North Star from the previous document that we collaborated on? And could we join them one in the same? Because I really like the impression of dignity and respect that the star that we created for the North Star peer principles has, and I just want them to be consistent, if that's okay.
Yeah, we can make them consistent. I had just personally designed the other one as a 4-pointed star, compass rose, directionality. So it had some meaning behind it, but it's what we agree on as a team that we can go with.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy about that, to keep the consistency. Because at the bottom of the North Star of Peer Principles, it does have clearly that OCAC was a collaborator on that document. So to build upon our successes and presences.
Now,
Right.
do I have access to what you're referring to, Luke, on the drive?
Yeah, I'll send the image to you.
Okay, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah, just the image file. You're welcome.
While we're talking about access to the Google Drive, I needed to say something to Marquita really quick. It's slightly unrelated. The Peerpocalypse tables that I had that you asked me for, I cannot seem to get to them from my telephone, and I haven't had access sitting up at my computer for a week now.
It's
And-
okay. I'll just start creating a new one.
Well, no. Here's the whole thing. It's already made up. Believe me, it's a big project, and it's got everybody's name already in it, and it's like it's the dream team for spreadsheets for this thing.
Okay.
And, but Isra does. I hopefully am crossing my fingers, hoping she's organized enough that she has that correspondence and that access link so that she can get it to you. Can you try to do that,
Okay.
Isra, if possible?
Sorry, Drake, what link you are referring to?
Do you remember the spreadsheet we've been using for?
Oh, yeah.
Peerpocalypse?
Yeah, I have it. I have it in Excel sheet and a document. I can send it as attachment to Marquita, and she can create another one from it.
Okay,
And-
thank you.
Yeah.
And you'll definitely want Israel's help and other help if you so desire, because it's a big thing to manage. You talk about herding cats. This is like herding the kittens the cats had. So, but last time we were able to contact every single person that thought they couldn't go, and were successful in all except for 2 cases in getting everybody all the accommodations they needed, and all but 2 people who absolutely couldn't get there to get a chance to be scholarshiped. So we did a really good job of getting everybody there. A couple people had to cancel out because of stuff that happened in between. But one of the reasons so many people were there was because we made it, a priority to get them whatever they needed to get there. Took me an hour to convince Heather to just go. So, anyways.
Can I circle back to that topic before we run out of time?
Yeah, go for it. I think the floor is clear.
Drake,
I think we're good.
we're doing a lot of back and forth earlier before other people arrived, so I wanted to touch on this topic that Kevin was talking about, where there's a lot of funding directed to some big efforts like the Peer Center of Excellence, and I wanted to hear which primary group is behind that and how to contact them, and basically like impress upon them that OCAC should be considered a partner organization or effort, function in that Peer Center of Excellence, so that we, braid some of our objectives and plans and goals and campaigns in with that, because I think it's an opportunity. Does anybody know which group is primarily behind that?
I had a preliminary conversation with Bo Rappaport about 4 or 5 weeks ago about this. As far as I know, that initiative came from within behavioral health and partially on his leadership. But it
Okay.
didn't seem like it was very well framed out. Like, there's that $6 million for that's mentioned. If you go into our technical assistance, people call, center of excellence what they used to call technical assistance. So $1 of one and 4/4 of something else. But one of the things I think would be useful is to get somebody on Ebony's team, particularly Jamie or whoever, and to unpack it. Where are they thinking about this sort of thing? I asked Luke, my first response was to Bo is, oh, this is going to be another ESA or trauma informed, give me to one of the universities. And not universities do great stuff. My partner works at one, but they seem to be self-perpetuating and take care of a whole lot of the things and lack grassroots. And I said to Bo, and he said, no, if this goes, we want it to be community based. But other than that, it was hard to see that he had any deep idea what any meat on the bones would be. And that was for future discussion that he said he wanted to have with me and others, but I don't know.
Let's
I've
do
been
it.
told that Bo is on leave and that he may not be coming back. So I don't know what's going on. And I don't know where this lies now.
Okay. I'll reach out to Krista Jones because she and I have been interested in collaboration and strategy. She showed up to one of our planning and strategy meetings quite a while back, and I followed up with her. So I think this would be a perfect topic to bring to her desk and see what she can contemplate about it and offer forth. Thank you.
Yeah, and also, like I said, please inquire about the 10 million in peer workforce funds. I'd like to get some details on this because after Thanksgiving, the governor may trim the agenda of what she wants, and we need to make sure that the team, that even if Bo's on leave or not coming back, that there's commitment by Ebony and team to make sure those things get anchored and move forward.
Yeah, she's right under Ebony Clark and what's the other guy's name?
Jesus?
No, sorry. Oh, I can't recall his name at the moment.
Dr. Haiti?
Excuse me?
Dr. Haiti?
No, that she's much higher up.
Okay.
One of Ebony's primary supporters, assistants.
It would not have been a big package.
You checked the mailbox?
Yes, it says it was delivered.
Okay, write that down. Thanks.
Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll ask both Selena and Elizabeth, so the people that would have brought it in if they brought it in.
Oh,
Got it? Okay.
yeah.
I'm really pissed. I've been.
He was. I think he was filling in before Ebony took over. I can't recall his name at the moment. Sorry.
John Collins?
Dave,
Yeah,
Dave, maybe.
John Collins. Exactly. That's
Oh,
him.
okay.
So she's right under John Collins. Great. Thank you. I'm going to bring to your attention something real quick, if that's okay. I just need like 20 seconds. There's a legislative concept we want to design for a future bill, and I would like to have OCAC's participation in this. It's a very, very simple ask to exert like tremendous change in the system for the better, and that's just to have much more peer workers in systems. Like for instance, Oregon Hospital, there's like 5 people in the peer recovery services department, and there's more than 1,000 employees here. So we just need more peers in the workforce. It's a very simple ask, and it's going to change so much. Thank you.
Hey, Bo, do you know that the head of the OSH peer team is on leave until December 9th?
Yes, I do know that.
So do
Who's
we
on
know
leave?
whether
Who is
C.
it that's on
Carver,
leave?
who runs the peer team at OSH, is on leave until December 9th.
That's weird.
Making
I
it
was told
challenging.
by an OHA director last week that it might not be until after the beginning of the year until it's resolved about Bo Rappaport.
Oh,
Oh, good Lord.
gosh.
How are we
Couldn't
supposed
tell me,
to, how are we supposed
couldn't
to
tell me
function?
any details that it was a HR issue, but that he was on leave and that they may have some resolution after the beginning of the year.
Yes, but they're our designee, and they're the person that, Bo is the designated person, so we need to get a new designee in the interim.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's all I was going to say. Yep.
Ezra, could you carry
Yeah.
that back to the ORR?
Yeah, for now, Drake, we have Maria Williams. She gonna join our full council next week. And also, I think Ebony, she gonna take care of all the things related with OCAC. So both of them will take care of this.
The first
Yeah.
person's name, please.
Maria, I'm gonna put it in the chat for you. Maria
Have a great day.
Williams.
Gotta go.
See you, Luke.
Bye,
Thanks.
Luke. Thank
See you,
you.
Luke. Thank you,
Yeah.
Israel.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to also say that what Marquita said. Ezra, things are, happening here and there with other people, but I really, really appreciate your service to OCAC. I think it's superb. So,
Thank you. It's a
For
teamwork.
sure.
And
Yeah.
thank you.
I think
But
a lot of people
we will
help
never
them
refer
lead,
to you as Susu or right. We don't. That's
Seru.
only what your family.
Seru.
Seru. That's only what your family calls you.
Okay.
How would you pronounce Israel? Is it Maria?
Yeah, Maria Williams. I put her name.
Okay.
Maria.
Her name is
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
And she'll be coming to the full council?
Actually, I talked to her and she tentatively accepted the invitation, and I'll make sure she will be there.
Okay. That'd be nice to be able to put a face with a name.
Yeah.
Isra, I have another question.
Well,
I heard Nakobe is no longer on the team. Has her position been filled, or is Sharmalee now in Nakobe's position? And is Sharmalee's position going to be open soon?
No, Nikob is still in our team till April 25th. So she's in a rotation job, and
Okay.
yeah, this didn't decide yet, and Sharmali is doing her work for now.
That's
Okay,
a
very
really
good
bad
thing.
idea, by the way.
Yeah.
The council got into great difficulty getting support from the state when they dropped from 2 people to 1 when Mike Levichuk was there and Libby Raskin took a rotation position. They ended up eliminating the position. So ORR should be very careful that they don't just take one of the 2 positions away when if Kobe decides not to return.
Yeah.
Well, here's another question. Does OCAC want Ebony just to appoint a new ORR director, or does she want her to go through the process of applications and interviews and all that? You remember Ebony was going to appoint the Measure 110 director, and I think I think they decided on Abby Stamp. I don't think there was a I think there was a very limited process. When Ebony took the job, she appointed Jackie Fabric as her deputy and didn't need to have job interviews. I would really like to have a director over the ORR as we go. There's $16 million, hopefully, of OHA ask for peer stuff, and it would be great to have an ORR director who knows what's going on and is following all this stuff and is able to give an inside voice. And also, Senator Gelser also spoke it out, and Ebony's aware of it. We're hoping also that the ORR will help spread nothing about us without us, especially in this civil commitment stuff. We haven't been at the table at all, and ORR, we were hoping that they would help join with OCAC to raise consciousness within OHA, please, Ebony, don't sign these don't let them pass these civil commitment bills where they've left us, not out of the cold. And so it's unfortunate that they're going through this, this leadership issue, or Bo's temporary on leave, because we needed a captain right now.
Amazing they can't find places to live for people in tents, but they can find $1,000 a day hospital beds at the state hospital for people they don't need to lock up. Utterly astounding at this stage of the game. All right, it looks like we're coming on the hour.
I want to put in a plug. Next Monday morning, the author of the Zyprexa papers, Jim Gottstein, founder of Psych Rights, will be a guest at Peer Network. So that's going to be exciting. He's going to talk to us about how to effectively sue people. So we're excited about that.
Next Monday is a holiday, Kevin.
Yes, but we're not a government group. We're
Okay.
well, I'm a veteran, so
Yeah.
Kevin's a veteran, he can do that.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thank you.
all right, very good. Okay, fantastic.
See
Thank
you
you,
all.
everybody.
Good
Please.
rest of your day.
Is
Have a
there
good one.
just a second if I could speak with you?
Yes, sure.
And this is just my particular stuff. I had some things to submit. I think I've told you about this before. 4 hours worked outside of committee time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use the forms that were provided to me, the current forms for stuff going back a ways,
Uh-huh.
even though the reimbursement be different. But the other thing I wanted to ask about is, do you really have the time to go through a bunch of that stuff, or should I wait until you're after back from vacation to?
No. Send it as soon as possible. I'll do my best to check everything before I leave.
And I have a pretty decent amount of work on the bylaws and the other stuff that I'm
Yeah.
not.
Did you receive my email this morning? There is a new form for stipend should use.
Okay.
So if
For
you
starting
want,
October 1st, 2024.
yes, it's the form 2024.
It's the 178, right?
I sent it
Even
this morning.
The reimbursement is 178.
Yeah. So it's just like have like few different things from the old one, because we was using the 2023 for this year. So we want to make sure it's for 2024. And yeah, that's all I need. And if you can just send it in Word, it's easier for me, and then I'll convert it to
You
the
provided
PDF.
me with that.
Yeah.
So I do that always now, so you can fix it up after I screwed it up.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my daughter together have screwed it up.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
But she's actually much better at it than I am. The mistakes are mine.
Yeah.
The other thing I had a question about is I still have my Peerpocalypse provider, care provider reimbursement to submit. And at one point I was told to put it on the 1297B and have them submit it separately with my reimbursement for mileage and stuff for Peerpocalypse.
I think this happened with Laura Ross too. She submitted a reimbursement for her caregiver, and the financial office, they sent it back to me and said, we are not paying for any caregiver's reimbursement. So
Yeah, it wasn't for the reimbursement, it was just for the mileage and expense, MSIE stuff.
yes, for the mileage, there is a solution. You can put the distance, if it's like from the home of this caregiver to the Peerpocalypse, and then from Peerpocalypse to her home or his home, whatever, the caregiver. So don't put your address. And then when I send the email, I said, this is because Drake have a caregiver joined him.
Okay.
Let me check
I
the
feel like
reimbursement.
I successfully did it the Peerpocalypse before on 1297s, and they didn't it passed through without anybody making any noise whatsoever,
No,
so.
no, no. Actually, I sent you several emails after that, Drake, but I didn't receive the updated one from you.
I'm
Laura's,
talking about July
yeah,
2023 Apocalypse.
yeah.
I actually got
Anyway,
reimbursed for caregiver mileage.
yeah, I'll check the form sent by Laura Rose, and then I'll send you an email with all the details. So when you fill yours, you will follow up all this, and it's gonna accept it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, on the, I had kind of a weird experience at the NARPA conference, and that I didn't save my receipts for meals. I've never been used to doing that if I'm getting reimbursed by the state. And they seem to want receipts, and they're reimbursing in real dollars rather than just per diem. And then I also had, they didn't tell us that the parking was paid for, and they wanted $59 a day. So we had to park a couple blocks away and pay parking separately, which I do have receipts for.
Okay.
And all that stuff does it have to go through their forms and their receipts, or can I submit it to you guys?
No, this is, I think it's all with folk time,
Okay,
not
well, that's kind
through
of what I was
us.
told, but we'll
Yeah.
need to kind of change the horse underneath us before
Mm.
we knew what we were, like nobody told me to save my receipts before I
It's
went up
okay.
there.
Drake, so you paid it through your credit card or your debit card?
Credit card probably,
I
debit
think
card.
I think you can have it from your bank statement if you have the download the app on your phone for the bank.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
go there and just check the amount, and it's gonna say this is like restaurant blah blah blah, and this is amount and the date. So maybe you can just have all the date and like approve and send it
Okay.
to Alita. I think they will accept it.
I hope so. I don't
Yeah.
want to have this fight.
Yeah. Me too.
All righty. I
Okay.
appreciate your time, and I know you work overtime, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate all your
Oh, no,
organization
don't
and
say that.
skills and everything.
My pleasure. It's my
You know,
pleasure to support
I
all
know
of you.
1.5 languages. I know some Ukrainian and Russian, and I know English.
Yeah.
And you know my language, but probably in some ways better than I do. So I really appreciate that you are,
Thank
if
you.
you're operating at this level in an English environment, you must be hell on wheels,
Yeah.
pardon the phrase, and
Yeah.
within your own language and culture. I would imagine that you would be a very valuable employee to somebody,
Thank
but
you so
you're
much.
really super valuable here. So I really
Thank you.
appreciate your help.
I appreciate you. Okay.
All righty. Have a good one. I'll
You
talk to you
too.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.